Hello guys, today's video is about the best consecration build in the game. Consecration is the Titan Solar Slam. Look at this, back-to-back abilities, slams, ignitions, grenades, healing. It's awesome. Most Titans are using Pyrogale when it comes to their solar builds with consecration, but I'm not a fan honestly. And I was thinking in making a video about Lofi the Heart, but a friend of mine, Palma, was online and he was using the same build, but instead of Lofi the Heart, he was using Art of Inmost Light. So we decided to do a legendary onslaught and see who could do more slams, just like Gimli and Legolas. And I was really surprised because he could keep up. In fact, at times, he was actually winning. And then when he used this super, he would taunt me for the next hour, because with Lofi the Heart, you have to abdicate of your super to have a fast regen. But with Heart of Inmost Light, you can choose the super you like, and you have an even faster regen time, and you do more damage with your abilities. So I put Lofi back to the vault and decided to create the best version of a Heart of Inmost Light build for Solar Titan. I truly believe that if you want to play around your slam, Heart of Inmost Light is just the best. I know that with Pyrogale you get an amazing super, it does a lot of damage, but that's it, And you're not using your super all the time. In certain scenarios, you're actually saving it for boss DPS, so not really the best option for a dedicated slam build. I know you get the cyclones, but enemies will die for the ignition, so it's nice to have, but there are way better options. On the opposite side of the spectrum, we have Lofi the Heart. When you have your super fully charged, you get 350, that's right, 350 additional base grenade and melee regeneration. And you also generate a ton of sunspots. And yes, you get abilities crazy fast, but you can't use your super because you only have those buffs when you have your super fully charged. So every time you are forced to use it, it feels like a waste, and we don't want that feeling. So enter Art of Inmost Light. It's just a better option. It's the best of both worlds because with Art of Inmost Light, using an ability, a grenade, a melee or a barricade, empowers the other two abilities for 5 seconds. And empowered means abilities have faster regen, 400% at times 1 and 800% at times 2, so just faster than Lofi. And melees and grenades, when empowered, they do more damage. So for melees, you do 10% more damage at times 1 and 20% more damage at times 2. And for grenades, you do 20% more damage at times 1 and 35% at times 2. So just like this, more regen and more damage. And we can use the super we prefer. And you can actually swap pre-DPS phase for Pyrogale if you want. Honestly, I don't like swapping, so normally I don't, but if you do, it's fine, you have that option. But guys, keep watching because we're gonna make it even better. I tested this build in Grandmasters, I went to in-game LFG, I did one birthplace of the Vial with some players from LFG, and it was great. Like, I was doing lots of ignitions, healing allies, I felt like I was controlling the GM. I did one legendary onslaught and it was nice. I even took this to the new activity Pantheon. I did Oryx Exalted with this build, guys, and it did great. This build is that good. You have your abilities crazy fast, so you have a way to do an ignition due to your melee. You have your grenade really fast. We're playing around healing grenade for survivability, but if you feel you don't need to, you can swap to an offensive grenade and do even more carnage. So you have lots of options with this build. So let me show you how I build mine. Super wise, use the one you enjoy the most, and I use small barricade basically because it has a faster cooldown. I went with throwing hammer and healing grenade. You can use again offensive grenade, but I prefer healing grenade because it gives the build so much survivability because you get your grenade really fast. Our first aspect is consecration. We want everything to play around it, so while sliding, activate your charge melee ability to launch a wave of solar energy forward, damaging and scorching targets in front of you as you leap into the air. While airborne, activate your charge melee again to slam the ground and create a second larger wave of damaging solar energy. If the wave hits a scorched target, they ignite. It means that in endgame content, where enemies don't die to your first wave, you guaranteed an ignition. Second one, I went with Sol Invictus. Solar ability final blows, Hammer of Soul impacts, and defeating scorched targets creates sunspots. Your abilities regenerate faster and your super drains more slowly while standing in a sunspot. Sunspots apply scorch and deal damage to targets inside. Entering a sunspot applies restoration. So this one is also amazing because now you're creating these sunspots that will make your abilities regen even faster. When you enter, you get restoration, and if enemies enter, they take damage. So this is just an amazing one to have. On our fragments, we need Ember of Searing. Defeating scorched targets grants melee energy and creates a fire sprite. The energy we get back depends on the tier of enemy, and since now we generate a lot of fire sprites, the second fragment is Ember of Mercy. When you revive an ally, you and other nearby allies gain restoration, and picking up a fire sprite grants restoration. Third one is Ember of Torches. Powered melee attacks will make you and nearby allies radiant. We're gonna do tons of power melee attacks, so why not? And last but not least, Ember of Benevolence. Applying Cure, Restoration, or Radiant to allies grants increased ability regeneration. Guys, 400% ability regeneration. Yes, that's right. 400% on top of the 800% we already have from the exotic. That's how we get abilities crazy fast. This build is just amazing. Now, I know a lot of people like Ember of Empyrean in solar builds. I just don't feel the need for it in this one because we get health from so many sources, from fire sprites, from orbs, from our crazy fast grenade. I don't feel the need for it. But Ember of Benevolence will only work if you're playing in a team. So if you're playing solo, you could swap for Empyrean and that will help you with restoration. On our armor mods, I went with hands-on, so when you do your slam and you kill enemies, you'll gain a ton of super back. Harmonic Siphon, when you kill with solar weapons, you'll generate orbs, and heavy ammo finder because it's always nice to have some heavy. On our gloves, I went with Focusing Strike, so when you do damage with a power melee, you get class ability energy back, and Impact Induction. When you do damage with that power melee, we're gonna get grenade energy back. So our melee will help us get the other abilities back, and when we use the other abilities because of Art of Inmost Light, they will help us get our melee back. So it's a nice loop. And I went with melee kickstart. So it just gives us that kickstart needed to get our melee even faster. On our chest, I always use the same: one solar damage resist, one void, and one arc. Then I'm good to go, and you can custom this for a specific activity if needed. On our boots, I went with one recuperation, so when you get an orb of power, you get health back, one invigoration, so now when you collect that orb of power, you get 10% melee energy back, and stacks on stacks, so it helps with the kickstart. If you want to use surges here, you can swap stacks on stacks, put a solar surge for example, but just don't forget, if you're using a surge, do not use a kickstart, so swap your kickstart for another one, for example a font, and you'll be fine. On our class item, I went with outreach, so when you use your class ability, you get 10% of your melee back just like that. I love proximity ward. I'm always, near enemies doing lots of finishers, so this helps me a lot. If you don't like doing finishers, you can swap this one for powerful attraction, so when you use your barricade, you collect the orbs nearby. And last but not least, distribution. It reduces all ability cooldowns when using your class ability near targets. And that's it, guys. That's the build. This one is great. It's not gonna fit every single playstyle, I get it. If you like to play, from afar, it's not the best option for you, but don't worry, because you can check my other builds and I'm certain you'll find someone that fits your playstyle. If you do, if you just enjoy doing a lot of slams with your Titan, try this one. Swap Pyrogales out, use this one, and let me know if you enjoyed it. So yeah, I'll see you in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you changed something, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot for the support, guys.